Hi, sorry I'm late.
Hi. Oh, not
Chris
at all.
Nugent, public law client meeting went over. You know how those
Oh,
things
that's
are.
okay. I'm Marisa
I'm only
Chancharillo from
10
the
minutes late.
tax department. That's okay. I was reviewing the memo on this case.
Oh, well, good. You're definitely ahead of me. I've barely looked at it.
The client is a 16-year-old female from Guinea.
Uh-huh.
And the only other facts I know about her are that she fled because she was imprisoned several times because of her father's political activity. And I think we're going to need to have a number of interviews with her.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely take time, but you know, you want to fight these cases as if your life was on the line, and
Absolutely.
you know, and to win them. So whatever it takes. So what do you think we need to do?
Well, I think why don't we start by, thinking about what our goals for this interview are going to be. And I think, one of our goals, of course, is going to be to establish a rapport with this client.
Yeah, we want the client to trust and respect us and be confident in us, because that's how you get candor. A lot of times
Absolutely.
folks from other countries, I think, don't trust attorneys because they think they're like attorneys in their country, part of a corrupt legal system and authority figure.
And credibility is such a huge aspect of these cases, so we need to know the whole story, and in order to do that, we're going to have to be very comfortable. She's going to have to be very comfortable with us.
Yeah. So I think, we'll probably want to ask some neutral questions to begin with of her, so that she feels comfortable. As opposed to cutting to the chase about what the case is about. We can ask her, what's her favorite course of study in school, her favorite foods, how the United States is different from Guinea.
How she likes it here.
Yeah, those types of things I think could be helpful. And then, we can segue into more probing questions about her case.
Because of course another major goal we're going to have for this interview is eliciting some of her story. Naturally, we're not going to get all of it in the first interview. As we said before, we're going to need several interviews. But we are going to have to start to get some of the story from her, because we only get, basic fact pattern from the referring agency.
Well, and my goal in this too is to really outline what the law is for the client, so they understand what we're up against. And I think the law is kind of complicated to explain, especially for a 16-year-old to understand.
But that actually brings me to something else we should talk about, I think, and that's what her goals are for this interview. Do you think she'll want to know about these elements, or that we have a duty to explain this to her?
I think it's good to explain what the asylum process is and what the elements are, from the outset, so they understand how their lives can fit into the law. I just think, given her age and what she might have gone through, we've got to be sensitive and really non-judgmental and work on developing the trust and try not to scare her with this process, because it's a lot of work.
Absolutely. And I think that is also going to be one of her goals, just to have someone listen to her and empathize with her.
Yeah, because who knows if she's been able to tell this to anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
And certainly the immigration officials who she dealt with upon entering the United States were not sympathetic, or, someone who she could really trust.
Yeah, and who knows what story she gave them, and that could pose some problems if she gave them a different story than what we're going to get.
Right.
Yeah.
I think another thing she'll want to do from this first interview is determine whether she's comfortable with us as her attorney.
Well, that's true. I mean, she's the client. She's the one who's going to direct us. We just bring our expertise to the process. But we want her to know that she is front and center, for us.
Well, maybe we should talk about, some of the things we should do before meeting with her.
Yeah, I guess we have some work ahead of us. Let's see.
Some preliminary research, I think. I could have my paralegal pull some country reports. The Department of State has a human rights report on every country, and we can have...
we also used Amnesty International and Human Rights
Watch. Also the UN Commission on Refugees.
And in that regard, we'll probably also want to just start finding a country expert, on human rights conditions,
and
because those reports are great, but they're not focused on your client.
That's right.
So if we find a country expert, they would be able to focus more on our client's circumstances.
So before the next meeting, I think we could at least get the, the reports pulled and read them so that we can show her that we're interested in her country and in what happened to her, and that we did some homework.
I think that would be great, but I'll also get my paralegal to start reaching out to like the universities and seeing who's who knows anything about Guinea, who could be a good country expert that we could think about for court, because that can help with the client's credibility and really corroborate their story. We used a university professor the last time, as well as a journalist in our South American case, and that really sealed the deal.
Oh, great. I'm thinking for this case we're also going to need a mental health expert.
Why?
Well,
she's only 16.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that if she was arrested a number of times in her country, that she could have suffered some severe trauma. Things she might not even be able to tell us, even if she develops a good relationship with us, that a psychologist would be better able to bring out. There are, a number of people of mental health experts who do this pro bono or for a small fee, and there are organizations who can actually help you find a mental health expert. We used one in my old case.
Okay,
It was
I'll
really
leave
helpful.
that to you. I mean, my South American didn't need it, but this client, might need it.
She might need it, yeah. I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
We can ask her, why did you flee Guinea? She might say, because they harmed me. And we can ask her what happened. Just keep it really broad and open-ended and see how much she's willing to tell us in that first interview.
Yeah, but at first, I said before, I think we should start with just like neutral background questions.
Oh, yeah.
Like what's your favorite food? I don't have a kid, so, and I'm not a big brother either, so I haven't worked with kids, but I think,
No, I think that's a really good idea. I mean, I even like to do that with my adult clients, just a little bit of small talk in the beginning, so I think maybe we'll just have to do that for a little longer time with her.
Yeah, there probably are some law reviews out there, on working with kids and immigration matters
that's a great
I'll
idea.
get my paralegal to research that, because I don't know the first thing about approaching a child.
What do you think about having an interpreter?
But is she in school here?
I think so.
What language does she speak?
French.
French. Okay, I don't speak French. So.
Neither do I.
Okay, so it's going to take longer with an interpreter.
Yeah, but I think it's very important to have one so that we can get all the details. She may speak some English, but she may not be able to articulate the things that we're going to need to talk to her about.
Yeah, well, the last time around we got an interpreter from the University Foreign Language Program.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So I can have my paralegal reach out to them. I'm pretty sure also this pro bono group that referred the case would know of some good interpreters who would volunteer or interpret, for a reasonable fee.
Now that I remember, my Congolese case, we used an attorney here at the firm who
Really?
spoke French. Yeah, my client was a French speaker.
Oh, well then...
I'll send out an email.
That would be good. Yeah, I mean, it would be great if we could get more people in the firm involved, because these
Yeah.
cases, tend to really inspire people.
And it might be okay even to have more than one interpreter. We'll see how it works out, because schedules conflict, and also in court, she's going to have a court-appointed interpreter, not someone of her own choosing.
We can't bring this interpreter.
No.
Okay.
No. So it might be good to get her used to a couple different people, if she even needs one. We'll
Yeah.
see how it goes that
Yeah.
first time.